And here it is. It is here. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. One man went to mow. Here it is. It is here. Here I am. Where are you? The session has commenced and your company is required. Gather. Let's go through as we go through every single day. So I have situated myself. Situate yourself with me. One man went to mow. The eagle has landed.
Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku.
Well, this is OBIANO. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Inyamadika, yabika kwa namno. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo. Mwanemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. Gonna sing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. When I sing along, holy, 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 is another Savior. Getting moving right and getting moving fast now. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, holy, getting moving right, holy, holy, never freedom. Is another Savior. Never freedom. Holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Well, this is OBIANO. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Inyamadika, yabika kwa namno. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo.
So there you heard it. It never changes. Holy, holy are the dulcet tones of the Igbotics. So holy, 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 holy Nnamdi Kanu, forever their savior. As guys, I bring you this. South African President Ramaphosa blames NATO for Russia's attack on Ukraine. So this is a view that is held by quite a few people because, of course, the predominance of the Western media are painting rather Vladimir Putin as some evil Hitler type figure, but there's a school of thought that has it that this guy was boxed into a corner and he had no choice but either to react in this manner or surrender his country. It looks as though the South African president is of that school of thought. South African President Ramaphosa blames NATO for Russia's attack on the Ukraine. So, quite how he comes to that conclusion, we find out just shortly. So, this is a follow on from a story that we've been tracking over the last 3 days. EFCC moves Obiano to Abuja after arrest at Lagos airport. So it looks as though there is not catch and release. They're going to sweat him for a good while. This another story that we have been tracking for a good while as well. And this conclusion comes as no surprise to us. One man's will and ambition over the well-being of 210 million people. This is what is playing out in Nigeria. Court orders Malami to delete Section 8412 from Electoral Act. So this Section 8412, of course, is what is preventing Malami to hold his position as the Minister of Justice and still take a ticket to be the governor of Kebbi State. So he has now had that removed. He tried the Senate. They said no. Now he's gone through the courts, which he controls, and he has gone to procure a judgment now that enables him to delete that section. But will this follow through is the question. But then impunity in Nigeria, of course, we know how that plays out. Court orders Malami to delete Section 8412 from Electoral Act. So does he even have the power to rescind anything from what is constitutionally signed? So they are essentially asking Abubakar Malami to override Buhari's signature assenting to a bill. So that is what that judgment is. But as stranger things have happened in Nigeria, and very quickly this guy will move to action that for his own self ambition and self will. APC convention to hold as court vacates restraining injunction. So the injunction that was procured again by Malami and Mia Malabuni to prevent the APC convention from holding on the 26th so that they can push it as close to the INEC timetable as possible so that they are then forced to hold the convention and the primaries both at the same event, thereby enabling them to manipulate who gets whichever ticket, especially targeting the presidential ticket. So it looks as though there's been a spanner chalked in the wheels of that plan. APC convention to hold as court vacates a restraining order procured by Malami and Buni. So there it is right there. We landed on this as we came up, we were rather discussing this story yesterday, but really as alarming as it was yesterday, we said it wouldn't end there and it has not ended there. 22.4% was the increment in borrowing in Nigeria within 12 months. This was according to the Office of the Debt Management Office, the DMO. But we said it wasn't going to stop there, and it has not stopped there. Buhari to borrow additional 6 trillion, Nigeria's debt to hit 45 trillion DMO. So, you know what, that 22.4% that we were alarming at yesterday, the actual monetary sum was 6.6 trillion naira. That was what accounted for that 22.4 percent increase in Nigeria's borrowing in 12 months. So he's now going to equal or measure that. So another 22% to take it to 44% within just 18 months. This is what Buhari is doing. So we did say they are going to rinse every ounce of blood out of that country. They're going to bleed every ounce of blood out of that country before they vacate. We did say that, and it is playing out. Buhari to borrow additional 6 trillion, Nigeria's debt to hit 45 trillion, DMO. So that is the department, the debt management office, rather. So that's the department that keeps tab of what the country is owing. So all of that in play. So take it easy, sit back, lean back, take it and just relax. So sit back. So I was just reading comments. So sit back, lean back, and just relax. Click on the like button, of course. And we've already explained why you should do that. And you have, if you are not already subscribed and you come here regularly, then there's something wrong with you in the head. So click on like and subscribe. And as you go about doing that, let's provide a little bit of musical encouragement. We'll come in via the east and partake in another Python dance.
Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Una boli Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Una boli Mary Nandi bo onye do I fall. O Mary woni zu biroya abakare. Mamanda Mora, Una Boogie Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Una Boogie Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Una Boogie Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Una Boogie Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Una Boogie Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Una Boogie Mary Nandi.
And there you heard it, the dulcet tones from the east, Python dance, another Python dance. So Python dance, another Python dance, as guys I bring you this. South African President Ramaphosa blames NATO for Russia's attack on the Ukraine. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Thursday blamed NATO for the war in the Ukraine. Ramaphosa said he would resist calls to condemn Russia in comments that cast doubt over whether he would accept. Let's do that entirely all over again. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Thursday blamed NATO for the war in the Ukraine. Yet Ramaphosa said he would resist calls to condemn Russia in comments that cast doubt over whether he would be accepted by Ukrainian or the West as a mediator, Reuters report. The war could have been avoided if NATO had heeded the warnings from amongst its own leaders and officials over the years that its eastward expansion would lead to greater, not less instability in the region, Ramaphosa said in response to questions in Parliament. But he added that South Africa cannot condemn the use of force and violation of international law, an apparent reference to Russia's February 24th invasion of the Ukraine. President Vladimir Putin has characterized Russia's action as special operation to disarm and denazify Ukraine and counter what he calls NATO's aggression. Kyiv and its Western allies believe Russia launched the unprovoked war to subjugate its neighbor, Putin calls an artificial state. Ramaphosa also revealed that Putin had assured him personally that negotiations were making progress. The South African leader said he had not yet talked with the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, but that he wanted to. On Friday, Ramaphosa said South Africa had been asked to mediate in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. He did not say who had asked him to intervene. There are those who are insisting that we should take a very adversarial stance against Russia. The approach we are going to take instead is insisting that there should be dialogue, Ramaphosa added. Screaming and shouting is not going to bring an end to this conflict. Ramaphosa's African National Congress Party, which has governed South Africa since white minority rule ended in 1994, had strong ties to the former Soviet Union, which trained and supported anti-apartheid activists during the Cold War. For that reason, South Africa is sometimes eyed with suspicion amongst Russia's rivals in the West, although it has still enjoyed a high level of diplomatic clout relative to its economic size since its peaceful transition to democracy. South Africa's historical refusal to take sides meant some are even approaching us on a role that we can play mediating, our President Ramaphosa said on Thursday. So that is the South African stance. Apparently, allegedly, they are being approached to mediate in the Ukrainian-Russia fight. Well, it's more an assault than a fight, really, because really, what can Ukraine do if Russia wants to take their country? But apparently, according to Ramaphosa, they're being invited to mediate in this skirmish, we put it that way, that is going on in the Ukraine. But he actually already weighs his sympathy on the side of Russia, who he said, and some will say rightly so, are the victims of covert aggression by the West, and they were left with no choice but to self-defend. So self-defense is the verdict from South Africa regarding the Ukrainian crisis. So there it is right there. So from South Africa back to Nigeria, EFCC moves Obiano to Abuja after arrest at Lagos airport. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has moved former Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State to Abuja after his arrest in Lagos on Thursday night. The spokesperson for the EFCC, Wilson Uwejeran, confirmed this on Friday in Lagos. The ex-governor was arrested in Lagos but was moved to Abuja this morning, Friday, Mr. Uwejeran said. On Thursday, the commission arrested Obiano at about 8:30 p.m. at the Muritala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on his way to Houston, Texas, United States, after handing over to his successor, Governor Charles Soludo. The commission spokesperson added that Mr. Obiano had been on the EFCC's watch list for several months but could not be arrested because of the immunity he enjoyed as a governor. Mr. Uwejeran further mentioned that the EFCC had requested the Nigerian Immigration Service to provide information. Mr. Uwejeran further mentioned that the EFCC had requested the Nigerian Immigration Service to provide information on the former governor's movement out of the country. The EFCC has yet to release details of Mr. Obiano's offense. So we don't really think that the EFCC really needs to release any detail. We know already, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, so it's looting now. What else could it be? It's not killing, is it? It's not, they didn't arrest him for murder. It's a police matter. It's looting. The money is stole. Court orders Malami to delete Section 8412 from the Electoral Act. So Malami, it looks as though he has finally been able to procure a judgment to serve his self-interest. And Umahia, Abia State Division of the Federal High Court, on Friday, ordered the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, Abubakar Malami, to, without delay, delete Section 8412 of the amended Electoral Act. Correspondents report that Section 8412 says no political appointee at any level shall be voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of nomination of candidates for any election. Justice Evelyn Ayandike asked Mr. Malami to remove that section immediately. She held that section 66 1F, 1071F, 1371F, and 1821F of the 1999 Constitution already stipulated that government appointees seeking to contest elections are only to resign at least 30 days before the election. The court, therefore, held that any other law that mandates such appointees to resign or leave office at any time before that was unconstitutional, invalid, illegal, and void. So there it is right there. Malami pushes his self-interest using the federal apparatus. APC convention to hold as court vacates restraining injunction. The Kubwa division of the FCT High Court on Friday vacated an interlocutory injunction earlier granted stopping the All Progressive Congress APC National Convention from holding. The plaintiff in the matter, Salisu Umaru, dragged APC, the chairman, caretaker extraordinary convention planning committee, Governor Mia Malabuni, and the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC before the court to challenge the planned convention. Justice Bello Kawu vacated the interlocutory order made on November 18th following the Defense Counsel Shaubu Aruwa SAN's application for the court to set it aside. So this is it. This is what is going on. Mr. Kawu vacated the order relying on the recent Supreme Court decision, which held that a party member does not have the right to take the party to court. Also, he did not know this before, or is this a succeeding judgment by the Supreme? It's just a ridiculousness. What does that even mean? That's well worth exploration. Mr. Kawu vacated the order relying on the recent Supreme Court decision, which held that a party member does not have the right to take the party to court. He, however, adjourned the case until March the 30th for hearing of the substantive suit. Mr. Aruwa had moved a motion seeking the setting aside of the interlocutory order and striking out of the suit on want of jurisdiction. He said the application was supported by a 5-paragraph affidavit and a written address and adopted all the processes, praying the court to grant them in the interest of justice. The defense counsel added that the claimant's counsel, Mike Enahoro Eba, did not file any process to counter his application. In response, Mr. Enahoro Eba said Aruwa served him on March the 11th and his 7 days had not elapsed, adding that his right to respond in line with the rules of the court had not been shut out. He, however, asked the court to reconsider an application to adjourn in order for him to file counter affidavits. Mr. Aruwa, in response, said he served the claimant since March the 9th through the former claimant's counsel, F.E. Ekpa, added that the 7 days elapsed on the 16th of March. So on and on it goes, the back and forth. But essentially, they have now repealed their request to prevent the convention from holding. Essentially, Buhari to borrow additional 6 trillion. Nigeria's debt to hit 45 trillion. Our debt management office. The total debt stock of Nigeria is likely to the total debt stock of Nigeria is likely to reach 45 trillion as the Debt Management Office DMO plans to borrow an additional 6.39 trillion to finance the 2022 budget deficit. This is according to a DMO document obtained on Friday. In the document, DMO Director General Patience Iniha explained that the overall deficit in the 2022 budget was 6.3 trillion, representing 3.46% of the country's gross domestic product. The DMO had earlier revealed that the country's total debt stock as of December 2021 was 39.55 trillion naira. Ms. Inoha explained that the budget deficit was to be financed mainly by borrowings from domestic and foreign sources and privatization proceeds. She explained 2.57 trillion will come from domestic sources, 2.57 trillion from foreign sources, 1.16 trillion from multilateral and bilateral loan drawdowns, and 90.7 billion from privatization proceeds. The DMO boss added that the 2022 aggregate federal government spending was projected at 17.1 trillion, 18% higher than the 2021 budget. Recurrent non-debt spending, estimated to amount to 6.9 trillion, is 40% of the total expenditure and 20% higher than the 2021 budget, added Ms. Oniha. Aggregate capital spending of 5.96 trillion is 35% of total expenditure. According to the DMO official, debt service in the 2022 budget is 3.6 trillion, making it 21% of total expenditure and 34% of total revenue. Provision to retire maturing bonds of 270 billion to local contractors is 1.6% of the total expenditure. This provision is in line with the federal government's commitment to offset accumulated arrears of contractual obligations dating back over a decade, she said. So there you have it. They just continue to borrow. Is that the totality of everything? They always find a way to explain it in the numbers, but really the sum total of it is more debt upon your soul. So more debt upon your soul from 22%, just sharply marked up to 44%. Meet yourself, please, Charlie Boy. So good to see you, Charles. Good to see you, Ajanle Coco and Henry. Good to see you. So let's start it off, and let's actually start it off with Ajanle Coco and go straight to him. Are you alarmed with rage, Ajanle Coco, yesterday at just the volume of debt that that Nigeria was carrying within 12 months? Today is double your money from 22% to 44% within one swoop. These people are just they're going wild.
Really, they're going wild. They are killing the country with debt. Maybe I should say they have killed the country with debt. A country that is using like 97% of revenue to service debt, not to even repay, not to even pay the principal, but just to service the debt. I mean, what does that tell us? That tells us that it's a country that is dying fast. It's not a slow death. It's dying very, very fast. It's unfortunate that we found ourselves where we are today, because we couldn't stop voting for incompetent people people that have never managed any businesses or whatsoever before, but you voted them in to come and manage an economy that is about $500 billion. So what do you expect? So there's no other way out. The only way to save Nigeria is productivity.
Ajale Koko, I noticed in the readout that some of the ways they are using to raise that money, one is through bond issuance, through sourcing from local fundings, and then sourcing internationally, but crucially by privatization. So what that tells us is that they are going to start selling national assets to loot. Because that's what privatization means. They are going to start selling national assets to loot. This is what they said.
I mean, if you even want to look into the national asset, what are the assets that Nigeria?
They will sell the stadium in Surulere, sell the national sell the national art theater in Onikon, sell that one, and they'll sell everything and just run to Dubai, Saudi with the money. You know, they want to start liquidating national assets to loot. This is what they are telling us now.
So what we are seeing here, one man, is that they keep on borrowing for consumption, not to invest for productivity. And that is where we are getting it wrong. And when it gets to a stage when our debt, our revenue will not be able to even service the debt, that is when we are going to get into a big serious problem, because at that moment, when you don't have enough money to even service the debt, then we're going to run into default, and that will score our credit rating low, and then the creditors will.
It's more difficult now because we are not able to, you know, you are a businessman, so you know how finances work. Depending on your credit rating, that will depend on the sort of loans that you are able to get and the interest rate and the conditionalities. So we are now not able to borrow at the top tier. This is according to Fincho, not me. These are the Finch. We are not able to borrow at the top tier anymore. So we are going to more psychedelic spaces, to deeper China, to places like Turkey, and all of these obscure, dodgy money people, money dealers. We are now borrowing money from money dealers instead of international. We don't have any credit anymore now.
We don't have credit. Yeah. So when we run into that default, we couldn't pay, then all creditors around the world will stop borrowing us. And that is when we will run into a big economic mess, possibly we run into a state of economic insolvency. So Nigeria today, I mean, IMF have seen it clearly that Nigeria is running fast into a big hole of indebtedness, and that is why they are pushing that country very hard to stop this subsidy on petroleum, to increase tariff on importation of goods, and particularly tobacco, liquor, and all these things. So what we're going to be seeing as people and businesses in that country, when it becomes very clear, when all the records shows that we are not making enough revenue, you know, to service our debt, then what are they going to do is to jump on tax, to increase taxes on people, on businesses and people in that country. And that, again, will kill businesses. Businesses will run out. Already we are seeing businesses running out of Nigeria to our neighboring countries. we just see Shell. Shell recently just sold off their asset and everything. They just left the country. Guinness is leaving. Everybody's leaving. So when the option going to be left for them when they run into low revenue generation is that they're going to increase taxes, and that will kill business more. So it's just unfortunate that we found ourselves where we are today.
We are seeing no impact of this guy came in with a low. I don't think Goodluck Jonathan especially left him any debt, maybe $1 billion thereabouts. This guy has taken it to about 30, 40. But then we are not seeing anything that is commensurate with it. They're saying they are building one bridge in the east. And the bridge that Goodluck Jonathan paid for. And they are saying they are building railway in
and they want to name that bridge after him.
That Goodluck Jonathan paid for. So we have not seen anything that they are spending the money on. So if there was asset on the floor, if there were infrastructures, then you will say through the infrastructure, the loan will get service because the infrastructure will propel the economy. But we are not seeing anything, and you are borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and now you are even 10, 11 months out of office, and you are borrowing more than you've ever done when you started. Every year they just increase it, and they just because there's more and more of them to feed, and they want to feed fatter and fatter. Oh, unbelievable. Sorry, I didn't want to rant, but sometimes it just gets to me. You know?
I mean, we in diaspora even feel the pain more than our people back home, because we don't see our people back home, speaking up, standing up, and and yelling on this people on the direction they are taking the country. Look, when Goodluck Jonathan was leaving, what he left as external debt was $8 billion. Today, it's been increased to over $40 billion. It's been increased to over $40 billion. So, and internal debt that Jonathan left when he was leaving was $10 trillion. 10 trillion naira. But what is it today? It is over 40 trillion naira. Maybe close to about 50 trillion naira. So these people, they are running the country down with indebtedness, both internally and externally. And what the revenue they make? What do they do with the revenue? We don't know what they're doing with the revenue. What are they doing with the revenue?
Adanle Koko, we heard about the revenue from Elumelu yesterday when he was telling us that 95% of the oil that's meant to dock at Bonny is stolen. So the money that is meant to service the debt, they steal it. The borrowing, they borrow, they steal it.
They steal it.
And then the assets that other people have built over the years, they will sell it and steal it.
I mean, this.
Oh, goodness me. Oh, God Almighty. Have mercy on us, oh Lord.
I mean, this is the time for everybody to know that this party they call PDP has brought havoc, and all they came to do for that country is to destroy that country and run that country down completely. We must not forgive these people. No candidate from APC should get our vote, because they mortgage the future of that country. They destroy the future of our young generation. What do we have now? We don't have nothing. That nation is a bankrupt. It's a nation on the road to bankruptcy. It's just. Therefore, I hope our people will. What we are seeing now about petroleum. What we have seen, the subsidy.
You know that petroleum, it will never go back to that 250. If it settles down, it will settle to about 3 something, or round about 3. And then after it settled to round about 3, they will say they've removed subsidy to take it to about 370. So it will almost double. and that is where it will stay.
Our people should know clearly now. You see, the issue, the scarcity of petroleum we are experiencing now is an indication that when they finally remove that subsidy, the price we are buying it now is what we're going to be buying. So people are going to go through pains and suffering. And a lot of what are we going to? We're going to see a lot of people going to die of hunger. Inflationary rate is going to, the currency value will go down more because you don't have anything to back your currency. You don't have productive, you don't produce nothing except for the oil. And even the oil you claim to be the only product you have that you export, you are not producing up to capacity that is required of you. All the production is being stolen. That is what this guy, Malami, what do you call his name, that was telling us yesterday. I'll tell you, woman, if you go to the jetties, all the storage you see,
it's all Chinese. You know what you find in the jetties is Chinese tankers and bags of dollars.
Yeah.
Chinese tankers. The Chinese will turn up. They will hand over the bag of dollars. At the dead of night, they will pump their something. The Navy will escort them out of the creeks because they've got their dollars too, and off they go to the international seas.
They don't have meters that run that can indicate what is coming in and what is going out. I was listening to a program, an oil expert was the one that was revealing this on national TV. He said all the meters are broken up. All of them are not functioning. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's a looting spree. It's a corruption of the highest order whatsoever that is going on in that country by APC government. We have to be saying it. This is APC government. They claim, they campaign that they're going to fight corruption, they're going to kill corruption, they're going to restructure the country. What have they done? The insecurity, they're going to put it on our head. Everything that they promised they're going to do before they came into government has got worsened on their watch. So what is it? What is it? What have they given to the country? We have to be saying this loud and clear. APC cannot rescue that country.
What was it
they have killed that country.
What was it that Fela Kuti said? Sorrow, tears, and blood.
Yes,
There's sorrow, tears, and blood.
Yes, that is what they are giving. They give to us. They leave sorrow, tears, and blood. Then regular. That is their regular trademark. The regular trademark of APC is sorrow, tears, and blood. Death. Every day, people are killed across the country every day, particularly in the north. It is a killing spree. Economically, they destroy everything. They brought hardship. What is it? What is it that we want to talk about that these people have brought good? Look at even the ASU, they are on strike now. They cannot even pay.
You know the police are threatening to go on strike as well.
To go on strike. I mean, the country is, I'm telling you people, one man, I have said it here. Some people jump to the sky and say it can never happen. It will get to a point when we people don't stop these people by voting against all these politicians that have run this country to where we are today. If we don't vote them out and vote for new leadership, new set of leadership, military will come in and do the justice. When it is clear that the country is going towards disintegration, they will come in and do it. And that is when we will learn a very big lesson. We are saying that we are democracy, we are enjoying democracy, freedom of speech, we are doing this. What, is it a democracy? Are we practicing democracy? This is not democracy. This is it's like a military style of governing by under civilian rule. Because all the power to make the country function is under the control of the presidency. 68 exclusive leave, centralized government, unitary government. That is what we are practicing in democracy in Nigeria. We are not practicing democracy.
All right, Ajanle Koko, you say this to vote them out, but it looks as though the rules will continue to be skewed in their favor. Court orders Malami to delete Section 8412 from Electoral Act. So that one section that even serves to sanitize that space somewhat. They are claiming now that it's in conflict with the constitution, and they are asking for its immediate deletion by Abubakar Malami. So it brings into question so many things. Does Abubakar Malami have the power to delete from the constitution something that's been passed through parliament, assented to by the president, to be deleted by a minister? So is that a possibility? But whether it's possible or not, we know how the Nigerian space functions. Quickly off the back of this court judgment that he has procured, Abubakar Malami will move to delete that offending clause that prevents him from holding on to his seat as minister and smoothly transiting into Kebbi State governor. So what are you then making of this judgment that was procured by Malami from Abia State?
Well, I think the Senate or the National Assembly can appeal against that judgment, and they can fight it out up to the Supreme Court. Malami is just doing what he feels is the best thing for him to do, to challenge their that newly signed electoral law, some section of it that he feels that trample on the right of some people. He's just doing his best. I mean, just doing his work as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying that what he's doing is the right thing to do, but under the law, everybody have the right, to challenge any law that you feel that tramples on your right. So it tramples on the right of some people. Among them,
should he use the apparatus of state to challenge something for his own self-interest? This is where the question is.
Well, we shouldn't conclude that it's for his self-interest. I mean, it's the president.
Well,
president. I know.
He's going to pick up the ticket for Kebbi State.
Kebbi, yeah.
And time is not on his side, so he's gone quickly to procure this judgment, and you'll see how quickly he will move to try to execute it before mid next week.
Yeah, his own interest is at stake too, as well as the interest of so many people. What we see going on there by that section of that electoral law that bars the political appointees from being contesting for elective position while still in office is the issue between the governors and those that and the what do you call it, the National Assembly member. Is this fight between both of them. So the governors always carry a lot of appointees to election convention and and uses that to promote their own candidate to their own advantage. So what Abubakar Malami is doing, I believe, is for the interest of so many people that are appointees in government, and following the instruction of the president. The president, urged the National Assembly to delete that section. National Assembly said no. So Abubakar Malami is doing his job as the man in charge of law to follow what the president is asking for, and as well as to defend the right of some other people that doesn't like that thing. So it's left for the National Assembly now to now appeal, and let's fight it up to the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court, we build the final judgment will come from Supreme Court, which will be
if equity is going to be done, the Supreme Court should not pronounce until after party primaries, so that whoever is serving self-interest is not advantaged by whatever the pronouncement is.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
So at least for this round, the law should subsist, and then after this round, You know,
Yes.
I don't want Abubakar Malami getting the immunity that is after.
Yeah. Yeah. So the National Assembly should apply for stay of execution and then appeal and go up to the Supreme Court, to fight it out. Yeah. Abubakar Malami, I don't see what he's doing is just. I mean, he have the right to do it. His office have the right to do it, and just fighting for the right of some people that believe their fundamental human rights have been trampled upon. They should not be stopped from contesting, even though they are still in the office. So it's a matter of law. Under democracy, everybody has to fight for their right.
All right, thank you. So let's leave Nigeria and go international. President Ramaphosa of South Africa is in contention, and he seems to be going against the grain somewhat. South African President Ramaphosa blames NATO for Russia's attack on the Ukraine. So this is the alternative presentation to the diet that is being dished out by the Western media, that the Russia an aggressor, Putin an evil man. So what President Ramaphosa was saying was that the eastern expansion of NATO, cutting further closer to the borders of Russia, left Russia with no choice but to self-defend. Self-defense is the verdict from South Africa. What says you?
Look, South Africa foreign policy is clear. They are non-aligned nation, and we should understand where South Africa is coming from. South African, particularly the black people, the ANC, suffered the worst inhuman treatment under the apartheid regime in South Africa. When the whites were in control of South Africa, they suffered what you can ever imagine that human race can suffer under the white rule. And those that stood with them were the Soviet Union. The Russians, they are the ones that were supporting, they are the ones that were training them to fight against, training their military wings, to fight against the apartheid regime. The West was supporting the white rule in South Africa then. So that memory is still fresh in their head, and they can never forget it. So all along, the black South African doesn't see the Western world as a true friend, even though that they celebrated Mandela after his release from jail, after 30 years in jail. But the current leadership we see in ANC were part of Mandela's group, and they suffered the humiliation together. Some of them were killed. Some of them were sent. There were several attempts to kill them. They ran out of the country. The former president was one of the military wings in ANC, and the Oliver Tambo, all of them. They suffered a lot under white military, dominated rule in South Africa. So when you see South Africa speaking this way, they know what it is that they see the West as double standard player. It is wherever it is good for them that they will celebrate. What is not good for them, they will not celebrate it. So South Africa is taking a stand that as far as they are concerned, they understood the game that is going on. They understood that the Russian did not just jump into war, but Russia feel threatened. Social feel that the NATO is moving closer to a hand, and Russia have to defend their territorial integrity, their national security. They have to protect it, and they have been saying this for over 8 years, that the West never listened to them. West was back in Ukraine. Instead of negotiating, instead of facilitating negotiation between the two of them to settle this issue of NATO and Russia, instead of finding a way to settle it amicably, they were rather supporting Ukraine to continue doing what they are doing, to urging them that they have the right to join NATO. So South Africa president is playing a big role that Nigeria should be playing. That role of a leadership, African leadership.
But Nigeria is no longer a non-aligned nation, though. Nigeria is no longer a because once upon a time Nigeria was non-aligned, but Nigeria is now aligned both to the Arab world and somewhat to the West. So yes, they follow them rather than being a neutral country. Nigeria has ceased being a neutral country.
Yeah. So the role that Nigeria should be speaking to, the role that Nigeria should be playing is what South Africa is playing. They are playing a role of a leading country in Africa when it comes to international issue, international at the international stage. That is the role South Africa is playing. We should also understand that South Africa is a member of BRICS nation, and Russia, India, South Africa, which other countries that are member of BRICS? I think China is member of the BRICS nation too. I'm not sure if China is there. So you can look at all those countries that are members of the BRICS nation. All of them are
Brazil is one of them as well.
Brazil. All of them are resisting pressure from the war. I mean, from the West, to put pressure on Russia. They are trying to play a different role that they are not. It's like they don't want to abandon Russia. They don't want to come out strongly in condemning Russia. They are
the war that is going on in the Ukraine is bigger than just Ukraine versus Russia. Is what is Western world domination or people having their own input. So if they dominate Russia, then they dominate everybody. Then because that only leaves China. That only leaves China, and they will,
and then
they will go after China, but that one would not be easy. But they would,
no, I mean, even
if Russia falls, China is next.
Data is gone. China will be gone because Russia is stronger than China militarily.
Yes, they'll just use economics to switch China off and then set it back.
And that's it. So all those
and the world knows this. So and if they switch them all off, and they have just this world domination, essentially that's the end for all of us now. You don't have a voice, you don't have a say, you don't have an input in anything. Nobody, you do as you are told.
Yes.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Go on.
Okay. I'm on your part. And I also wanted to also make mention of the fact that the world has been overdue for a kind of recalibration of the order of the day. We cannot have the US as the sole world power anymore. Because when you see certain things that happen, you'll be wondering if they really have the moral. The West doesn't have the moral to actually put Russia in its place or even tell them anything. Look at what they did with Afghanistan. How did they allow
Iran or Iraq or any country
or even Libya?
Yes.
They have a lot of questions to answer. Look at Nigeria. Look at how they kept quiet during the EndSARS. They didn't stand by the people. They have not been standing by the people. They are just selfish. And why in God's name are they even coming close to Russia with NATO? Why? How can I go and sleep knowing that my neighbor has a bomb? Why all of a sudden does Ukraine need NATO? You are sitting close to a world power yourself. I just wanted to add that. Ajali Koko, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Zero. So, South Africa, as a member of BRICS, China, Russia, Brazil, all of them, India, you look at all of them, they are taking a different approach. They are not condemning Russia. They are not condemning Russia because Russia is part of them, and they believe, just like one man said, that if Russia go down, that is the end of them too. They'll be taken over easily. So the issue we see that is playing out here is more than Russia and Ukraine. It's between Russia and NATO countries, NATO country, an interest of, the issue there is contestation of interest and power. So both sides, the best thing to do is to see how they can resolve this, on roundtable discussion. The war is not the solution, but South Africa have make it clear to the world their position, which is very good. And if African countries can stand up and said, we are not in support of the war and we are not condemning anybody.
Yes, but you know, a lot of, if you sample people privately, I'm talking by people, I'm saying nationals,
Yeah.
they can see what is going on, but they're so tied up to the West in terms of economics, in terms of technology transfer, in terms of the way their society is structured, that they cannot afford to go against the West. Ghana will never go against the West now. What the whole of its system is Western based, Nigeria Western based, everybody Western based. So how are you able to go against them when you know on the other side they'll come back and punish you?
Yes, you are right. So the whole of African country should speak to this issue. They should come out with a strong position. And I don't think a position of condemnation of one country or the other is the best solution, but a position of, bringing them to the table and solve the problem. The problem can easily be solved between Russia and Ukraine. They are neighbors. They are more connected to each other than any other part of the world. They are families. They have long-term family connection, origin connection, and everything. So those two countries should be encouraged, to settle this.
Do you think Russia is taking too long with this thing? I thought they would have ended it by now. Just go to the capital and take it over now. What's the big deal? Are they taking too long with this thing?
Well, we don't understand their strategy. Some people are saying, "Oh, they are taking too long." Maybe they're trying to, to take it easy, to allow the
facilitation of
negotiation, and they can use that, and
you know what I think? I don't think they have the stomach to do what it will take to just take it over, because to take it over in just one sharp action, they'll have to savage the place.
Yeah,
and they don't want to.
They don't want
the humanitarian backlash. They don't want the
yeah.
humanitarian backlash.
They don't
They'll just have to carpet bomb it now. They just carpet bomb it. Boom, 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 boom. The way they did with how many? They did take them 1 week to take Iraq now. When the American, they just blew up everything.
Yes. So I think that is what they are trying to do. If they have to go all out, use that heavy force to take that place, a lot of civilians will be killed. A lot of people that are escaping out of that country will have been killed. So they understood that, and they are taking it gradually.
Because there are two wars going on. Or there's the war going on in the Ukraine, and the war as it's playing out within the social media space, with a lot of people quietly understanding why Russia was forced into this position. But if we start seeing heavy body bags coming out of that space, people will quickly change, because people don't like to see, dead. You know, they don't like to see inhumanity. You know.
Yes, yes. So I think Russia is trying to take it easy so that they can facilitate negotiation and between them and that country, and they don't want to inflict too much of civilians casualty. They don't want the world to see that, and people doesn't like that, as you said. So they are gradually taking over. Most of the strategic location has been taken over. When we are talking of the nuclear plant locations, they have destroyed all their military base. So what is left for Ukraine? So this morning the news just came that they just hit their, what do you call it, their military aircraft maintenance place in Ukraine.
And also they don't want to destroy everything, because when they take over the country, then they still have to have a functioning country. And so if they destroy all the infrastructures, then
Yeah.
who will pay for that in the after,
But you guys don't understand. Most Ukraine don't want to take over the country.
Who told you that? Who told you that?
I have friends with Ukraine, and
who told you most Ukrainians don't want Russia?
No, I have friends with Ukraine woman who from Ukraine. You guys are getting it wrong. You see, that's the issue.
You have a friend from the Ukraine who told you they don't want.
No,
you don't know, the Ukrainians are more Russians than anything else now. They are, that's their culture, even their language, their way of life.
Sorry, what was the point? You said most Ukrainians don't want Russia to take over, or they want Russia to take over.
They don't. It says they don't.
No, that's a lie. I have people from Ukraine. You think I'm lying? I'm not lying. I have someone from Ukraine.
I know you're not lying that your Ukrainian friend told you whatever he did tell you.
No,
but that is his own particular view.
I have more Ukrainian friends. They say they don't want to watch you take over the country. They don't like that. It's killing the people. And plus, Ukrainian language is different from Russian language. You know that.
Ukrainian, but I think there's the common language spoken in Ukraine, if not the official language, is certainly Russian.
No, it's actually Ukraine.
No, well, you'll be surprised that every Ukrainian speaks Russian, if not a good 80% of them.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't speak Russian.
No, they don't. Actually, that's false. You know why?
They don't speak Russian in the Ukraine. What do they speak?
They speak Ukraine. They don't speak Russian.
French.
I know you're getting your facts right. I have someone from Ukraine that speaks Ukraine.
Ask him if he speaks Russian or not, your friend.
He doesn't.
Ask him. How do you know? Ask him now.
I did ask him.
He will tell you that he speaks fluent Russian.
He doesn't speak Russian. He speaks Ukrainian. You see, you guys gotta be careful. Don't say stuff you don't know.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
all right.
let's just South Africa is playing a leading role for Africa at the international stage, and we should commend their position. Their position is to encourage both sides to come to a negotiation table and find solution to their problem and not war. That's a good position that South Africa has. I like their South African position.
All right, thank you, John Lekoko. So, in fact, this is somebody that lives within that block, Alexander Kase. I think he's in Poland, so thereabouts. So it's telling you every Ukrainian speaks Russian. It is taught in their school. So that's somebody that lives there. So there you are, not in the Ukraine, but within that.
Okay, that one I don't know.
But you will argue with somebody that lives.
But do the Ukrainians want Russia to take over Ukraine?
We don't. Do you know? I suspect that maybe they do.
So. But if not, there will not be this serious talk on the media, because we see even snipers they take out.
Well, don't worry. That's propaganda, isn't it? All right. Okay. Thanks, Akajale Koko. But let's go on to you, Exero. You've already come in at that space. So the South African position that they are saying NATO are actually the aggressors by pushing heavily eastward and giving the Russians no choice but to adopt a self-defense position. What are you then making of Ramaphosa's comment?
Yeah, first and foremost, I have to give I think I have to commend South Africans for going for what they want, for knowing what they want, for having an organized diplomacy, international diplomacy, and following it through. These are a people that know where they stand to gain, what they stand to benefit by their comments. A country does just not exist in thin air. You have positions, you know people who have backed you in certain areas when you are in time of need. I I would I will I'll take it back to the time of Mandela. You know, this criticism coming from the West didn't start today about South Africa, making friends with the Cubans and the Russians and the likes. But Mandela, I think a lot of people have seen that speech where he made mention of the fact that the West should not take offense when South Africa makes other friends, because you the West cannot be our only friends, and you cannot tell us not to be friends with people who stood by us when we were striving to get our freedom. A
Yeah,
lot
I
of these
saw that.
people,
I saw that. It was an interview with an American thing, isn't it? With
exactly,
yeah, I saw that.
exactly. These are countries that know their history, that know where they stand. They have purely well organized international diplomacy, that they know what they want or where they stand and those who stand by them. And therefore, this determines how they approach issues such as this. No matter how you want to look at it, from the humanitarian point of view, or how Russia is invading a sovereign nation. In the world of today, you just don't speak out against your friends. You just don't. That is diplomacy. That's the difference between a well-organized
Because
country.
people are not playing for this war; they are playing for the aftermath. Because the war will
Yes,
end fairly soon. Give it another 2 weeks. I don't see it lasting beyond 2 weeks. But then, what happens after is where people are positioning. So, who supported whom? Who said what? And how did they present themselves? So, this is. I think South Africa is playing the long game for that Russian Chinese sort of friendship.
yes, yes. But in the world of today, we've also seen that no matter the aftermath, no matter what happens tomorrow, there's no denying the fact that Russia is a world power. That means they cannot be taken down. It's like somebody beat you today and you say, okay, you go and prepare for a rematch. There's no rematch when it comes to being a world power. You come back, they will still beat you again. If Russia leaves Ukraine tomorrow and Ukraine does anything that contradicts Russia's place, they will come in again and invade. That is the truth.
I don't even understand why the NATO are pushing to the east. They know fully well that no matter how they position themselves at the borders of Russia, if they militarily attempt at Russia, the consequences will be the
There.
entirety of humanity will pay it.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if all bets are off, Russia will just unload all of their arsenals, and wherever it falls, and whoever goes.
Of course.
Every
Of course.
the world will not recover from Russian anger.
Of course. And this is a man who is filled with pride. He's so obsessed with what Russia used to be that he wants to gain, even if it's half of it. You know how many countries they lost during the disintegration of the Soviet Union?
All the vacuas were once part of USSR now.
Yes, exactly.
Slovakia, Slovakia, all these vacuas,
Yeah, all the
Czechoslovakia.
Vakias and
Yeah,
the Kosovos and the Co. They all
yeah.
left and this were because of the West. The West incited it. And now they're coming close to their doorsteps. If it were you, would you allow that? That's the question. What is the West trying to prove here? There's nothing to prove. This is a world power. Leave them alone. You cannot go to that space. It is already dominated by the world power that is in that space. What are you trying to benefit from it? Bring the total cataclysm to the world? This is a no-go area. I think Biden is just trying to go, a step against, in the opposite direction of what Donald Trump did, and it's backfiring seriously. He's trying to prove that it's not like Trump that will go and start massaging the ego of Putin. But the truth is still what it is. Putin is strong. Damn it. You can't go into that space and dominate. You can't. The whole world will perish. That's what is happening. And in the world of today, I'm sorry to say, with what we have seen, the NATO, the United Nations, the International Court of Justice, they are not there for the downtrodden. They are there for status quo. That is why Nigeria is what it still is. Nobody is going to come and say, these people, look at what they are doing to the Russian oligarchs. Imagine they were doing that to the Nigerian oligarchs. But they wouldn't. So they don't stand for the downtrodden. They stand for their own interest, which is every man for his interest. South Africa is for its interest, and I don't blame them. I don't. That is what the West deserves. Everybody should give these people, let these people deal with their problems, because they are the ones who started problems everywhere. Look at the whole of Africa. Any place there is a seeming sign of organizing themselves well, they'll come in and they'll destroy it. Look at Congo. The whole world is getting 80% of world production of what's it called? It's coming from Congo. But you know Congo is in war. Why haven't they stopped the war?
That thing that they use for mobile phones, silicon. Is it silicon? Yeah.
I think there's a name for it. 80% of it is coming from Congo. 80%. But Congo is still in war. But the lives of those people don't matter. It doesn't matter. But the lives of Ukrainians is what matters. Look at what they are doing to Nigerians and Africans at the border of Poland. Do you know we have casualty? We have a casualty as we speak. But no one's talking about it.
I heard about it.
Yes. And the family of that girl, they don't want to talk about it. They want it to lay low, to just die low, you know. And look at what they're doing to blacks. But I've never heard in my life, this is the worst kind of atrocious statement I would hear. When the Ukrainians were leaving to, I think, what was that country? The country
Poland.
said, I think it's Poland or something. They said, these people are not refugees. We will treat them as citizens. So now they are now segregating refugees. So refugees now is status. I thought a refugee is a person who's seeking refuge. But no, now segregating refugees, you know, they're now segregating. The refugees who used to be there, maybe the ones from other countries, they are now a step lower than the Ukrainians. That Ukrainians are now more like citizens in this country. This is unfair. We are in a world, a globe. We are all human race, right? So I see a lot of I don't blame South Africa. In fact, they've spoken like a true giant, giant that knows its worth.
All right. Let me take you from the international scene and bring you back to the domestic scene. Obiano still his travails continue. Tried to make his quick exit, picked up at the airport in Lagos, now held in Abuja. It's not catch and release. It looks as though they're going to sweat him hard. So what do you then think? What fate is going to befall the former governor?
You know, if you ask me, there's no innocent man in government house. There's no innocent man in government house, because if you go into that government house and come out with your salary just like that, you'll be oppressed by the other governors. You cannot but steal. So in fact, any governor that is working free has succeeded in buying his way to freedom. There's none. So if they want to follow it to the letter, they will indict him and imprison him. There is no innocent man in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, in Nigerian government house. There's none. At some point in this man's career, he started to make the party that was put together by the most respected, the most revered Igbo person, Odumegwu Ojukwu. That party was put together so that the East, suffering marginalization, can at least not marginalize its own self, use their own resources for their own benefit, at least. But at the end of the day, what did we see? We saw people leaving the party to other parties. Don't forget that Okorocha was in that party. He moved to other party after winning election under this party. The ones that remained Anambra seems to be the strongest hold of this party. And this man, during his second tenure, succeeded in creating a kind of caucus where the other people, members of that party, could not feel any longer, at home in the party. At the end of the day, what happened? He succeeded in doing a lot of atrocities. Monies embezzled here and there, nobody knew where the monies were going, So at the end of the day, at the end of his tenure, as he handed over to Soludo, he already had tickets to leave the country. Can you imagine? You are leaving a country you served for 8 years. You are leaving all of a sudden the same night of your handover.
That's running, isn't it? Really, it's a man on the run now. He thought he could beat the loop. He thought they would still. He thought he had that window of the occasion just to quickly bebe, but they were waiting for him.
Just to quickly Japa. If he knows that he has done well, there's only a man that has done well for the people that walks confidently on the streets.
Zero.
Not done well.
Can I interject 1 minute?
Yes, do that.
Other than the Japa, it just shows that he doesn't love that country. He doesn't love the people of Anambra. They don't love that country. I mean, if the country that you really love, the country that you really serve, why do you really, on the day you are handing over, you want to take off you want to go out on that very day? To where? So this is what these people, this is who they are. They don't love that country. What they love to do in that country is to assume position of power, use that position of power to loot as much as they like, and then run away. That is what he was trying to do. It's just a shame, So you can continue.
Yeah, he had his plan. He had his plan all along. Like Adele Koko said, if you love what you built, why don't you live in it? All of a sudden, you are living a place. Do you know that Europe is cold? Do you know that people who live here do honest work? Do you know that they
he was actually escaping to, I don't know, this is a bit suspicious, but he was coming to Texas where Ajanle Koko lives. It was on his way to Houston. So Ajanle Koko, maybe you want to make some confessions, so you don't know. Are you his bag man? Is he coming to
I don't know him. I don't know.
Look at that. You don't know him. Look, you don't know him in his time of need. When you were sharing dollars, you knew him then. No, but he was expecting to Houston.
Make it go answer in question.
Yes.
Inside make them carry and go kirikiri self.
So yeah, but he's escaping to Houston, yeah.
But it's good. It's good. But what my own problem is even with the AFCC, because I don't know of how many governors they've arrested before. No indictments. You see? They just want to get their own share.
Remember when they arrested Fayose, and the next time we saw him, he was in the Caribbean dancing with young girls.
Dancing salsa, of course.
Yes. He said he needed treatment. He said that was treatment too for the soul.
That's that problem. All these guys, you see these guys. That was why somebody was saying we shouldn't blame Europe or the West for all these things. You see these guys, they are oligarchs. They are all oligarchs. They stole Nigeria blind. You know how rich Nigeria is? These guys stole.
Nigeria, nobody knows how. That country is one of the wealthiest. It's beyond rich. There's money pouring out of that country everywhere.
Yes. And the same West is now going for the Russian oligarchs. But the Nigerian oligarchs are everywhere. Where do they keep their monies? Why are you allowing them to gallivant the whole world? Why? This is another oligarch that wanted to leave yesterday. Thank God the FCC got hold of him. These are all oligarchs that should be caught, sent back to Nigerian prisons. So that this is why South Africa is saying what they're saying.
I'll be surprised if it's not out by Monday, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The system is so corrupt that even the ones that are supposed to enforce the law, they are corrupt themselves. They just want to get their own
There's
share
a
because
process to these things. They will arrest you, hold you for a day or two, seize your international passport, and then you will say you have medical needs abroad. They will give you to the passport back, and then you will go to the Caribbean to go and dance calypso with pretty young girls. That's the process. That's the process.
isn't it the process?
Yes.
That's what generally happens. I mean, look at we have confirmed criminals. The only one that was caught was not even arrested by the country, was not indicted in the country, was indicted in England. That's Ibori. That's the only one that served. The others, the likes of Ojis Okalu, I mentioned all of them. The likes of, I think Darie served 3 months or something. Was it Darie or what's his name?
Look at when they locked up Ojis Okalu, and the Senate told us that they will continue to pay his salary and hold his seat.
Yes.
And within 3 days, 4 days, he was out again. And they said, well done, my boy. They cannot hold us. Now we get this year. Now we get this land. You know.
You know, and if they don't have the backing of the West, will they be confidently doing this in our faces? It's like they're laughing at us. They're telling us we cannot do anything, and it's the truth. It's the West that's backing them. The time Tinubu took all those money in Bullion Bank, where was he heading to? Wasn't it France?
No. That money was for the election then.
Oh, so money's so you see, but Tinubu himself, he's not a free man. He's free.
You know, there are certain untouchables, so Tinubu might well be one of them.
Of
you know,
course.
But Babangida is still there telling us, no, this country, you know.
Of course.
This guy.
We have more oligarchs than Russia. We have more oligarchs. Nigeria itself has more oligarchs than Russia. Say it anywhere.
You know what Abata's son said? He said God will never let his family be as poor as Dangote. That is what he said, Abata's son, that God will never let his family be as poor as Dangote.
Yes, exactly. When they were interviewing him, they said, well, how did he make all his money? He said, opportunities.
Buying and selling, yes.
Opportunities, you know. Opportunities everywhere, you know. But when you are in government, even the likes of Obasanjo himself, how can you leave office taking advantage of the country? You have farms everywhere. I think he even has an oil block. He gave himself that. Why? And we cannot say, these are simple things we can see, but you cannot take advantage of a country you are serving. In fact, as a serving person, you should not be taking anything.
It's just a real travesty, you know, because they take all this money, they go to Dubai, they go to Saudi, they go to, this one wanted to escape to America, some of them in the UK, but the UK now tightening up its rules, etc. But imagine just to use that money to recreate those places that you love in your own country and let them come and visit you. How about trying that? You know, how about it just as an idea?
I think you said something like that. I see Ajahn people that said they don't love the country. And it's a pity. This country is so blessed with the best weather you can get, the best soil, but you killed it and you took all the money. You made the youths unemployed because all that money they stashed abroad, if they brought it back home, nobody will be in the streets clamoring for change or whatever. Everybody will be busy. It's because they didn't do nothing. That's why a lot of us who are clamoring that we need change in that country, we didn't have any business clamoring before because we're all busy facing life and doing things. Things are working. But nothing seems to be working anymore. In fact, last night, I was seeing a video where they said the Nigerian customs, in fact, I think you have to take that up. The Nigerian customs has now...
You mean the scanner?
They've doubled the import duties now. So if you are buying an imported car for 2.5 million, you now get it for 5 million because there's no way they're going to pay that import duties and sell for the old prices. That's what's happening as of last night. Check that out. So now you see these people are trying to maybe create an avenue for themselves. Like we used to discuss here, most of these things are being put together by the co-conspirators of this Buhari administration. You know, and the likes of Obiano, is now going to pay for his own. I hope they indict him. I hope. I just hope so.
All right. Thank you, Xero. So, Xero, let's hear from Henry, so that we can make sure we've heard from all the voices. And I think Henry might well be a new voice. So, Henry, are you with us? Henry, did I mute you or did you mute yourself? Henry, unmute yourself. All right. Let's go on then to Charlie Boy, since we don't seem to. Do we have you, Henry?
I'm here.
Good to have you, Henry. So to you then, the conversations, we're talking about the South African situation. We're talking about the heavy weight of the Nigerian debt. We're talking about Malami trying to tweak the Nigerian constitution to serve his own pecuniary interest. So your thoughts on any of those or all of those, Henry?
You know, it's a very funny situation in Nigeria because when you looked at when Buhari came in 2015, and then there were two options presented, Atiku and Buhari. And then people went after Buhari like, oh, this guy's going to change everything. Now, 2019, after 4 years, didn't people realize like what they were into, what they were gonna, what the shit they were into? I don't understand, because now the whole thing has erupted into, we have herdsmen cry, like it's just some bullshit, man. And then
just mind the language a little bit, you know.
I'm sorry, but you know, I'm very sorry about that, but I'm just trying to like look at the precedent of where we're coming from. And now we had two options again in 2019. Buhari again, the farmer, and Atiku, the businessman. That's how I look at it. Atiku, a businessman, the people are saying he'll come and steal Nigerians' money, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. But it's like, what can he do? Does he have proven businesses that if you're a businessman, if you look at the economic situation of things at that time, you'll be able to relate to it like, nah, this thing is going down. We're going to a decline. People didn't look at that factor. They say like, oh no, Buhari, what businesses does he have? Yeah, I'm a farmer. He kept crying that, and we kept following it. And look at it. What has happened since then? Marginalized, you know, giving his Fulani boys more lands to take over in Nigeria. You saw he went after Atiku's business. You saw he shut down Twitter. Now look at it from its point where if this guy has been in the business space, all these businesses is trying to regulate, will he actually do it like that? Is his economic team advising him enough? So when we move from all of that and then we start looking at it into issues of Malami is just trying to eat. He's just trying to have continuation to eat. And if I don't know if the Yorubas have a good game right now to play on the Igbos, that's just where the space.
The Yorubas have only one game to play, which is Tinubu, which is not looking like a strong hand anymore. The Igbos are not in play because they are already played out. Their game was Nnamdi Kanu, and he's changed to a desk at DSS headquarters.
Now, if the Yorubas don't really,
so it's just the Fulanis in play now, you know,
then we're back to the same Fulanis. So now amongst all of them, the person basically that has, you know, the tenacity to come out and, you know, amass enough votes is much more likely to be Atiku. If APC goes towards El Rufai, but they're trying to sell him like maybe Buhari's loyal boy, like the person that can do it. Look at what he has done in Kaduna. I don't really know what he has done in Kaduna, but you know how they will sell the propaganda, like the trains and all that bull and all that stuff. Now, I don't know if it will work for APC, but for PDP, if the Atiku, you know, Atiku might now in 2019, if they had given Atiku that ticket, he might have done a whole lot better. Now it's seen that a lot of things have erupted. These people have stolen this economy down. Me, myself, maybe, you know, 2019 to now is about 4 years. And then things have changed. Maybe at that time we had reserves, with, you know, good reserves. And now if he goes in there, he's looking at, man, this shit is depleted. What am I here to do? Think about what I'm saying. Like maybe we when let's. I'm just trying to give an instance. Like let's say 2019 when Buhari he was seeing about $76 billion in reserve, and then towards the end of his administration, he's going to be leaving about $19 billion in reserves. And then it's like, look at all the things we're indebted into, all the countries. Do you think he's going to have a goodwill to be like, oh yeah, all the promise?
No, he's just going to sell what is left because Atiku's
Exactly.
whole idea was to privatize the NNPC. So he would just cash that on in, and then that's the end of it.
Exactly. And then where do we go from there? Because that would be another Fulani man there. And then
We start to cannibalize each other.
So what do? We say, what then what do we adhere to? So that's the problem, because what I'm looking at is like a very big picture, but it's like, man, we in the diaspora, we see a lot of things. We see a lot of things that the people in there, I don't know what they're saying. Honestly, I really don't know.
No, they cannot see it because they're so weighed upon by the system. Is it you that you are parked at the petrol station for 4 hours that you want?
But you see, one man they
cannot
talk,
have.
they read papers, they read all these
But they
newspapers.
don't have the time to digest what is going on. They are just too busy battling for survival. They're so busy battling for survival, they don't have the space to have elegant thoughts. Where is the space? No matter rich or poor, where is the space to think in Nigeria when you're just trying to hold on steady to their life?
That's a very valid point you made, because at the end of the day, the people reading papers, the people that you think are doing well, when they get back home and it's like, Daddy, how was your day? And it's like, oh no, you know what the country is saying. So it's like, okay. But when the politician comes and it comes with the stomach infrastructure, like, oh, I want to become the senator, the house of this area, this 50,000 on Saturday, come out to the polling vote. I would like to see you and any of your family members you can amass, bring them out. If I give you 50,000 just to come out on a Saturday, of course you will come out. You've not seen, you know how your weeks have been. So and then you just come out, just one activity, one exercise in less than 3 hours, do that, people will come out. So that's what it's really messed up. And then you look at the Attorney General, you can imagine, like, you see, I have a problem. I don't know if Apata, NBA president, if he cannot really challenge Malami's authority. I really have a problem with what they're doing.
They have the power to debar him.
So what is going
They can
on?
debar him, and then if they
spoke,
debar him, he automatically ceases to be because he has to be a lawyer to hold that spot. They can debar him. So I don't know why they have not yet debarred him.
You see, when the issue of justice, that Odili came out, they were very fast to talk. They reacted fast. The NBA reacted fast. This is issue concerning the general Nigeria now. They're very quiet. And I'm looking at it like, wait, don't we have an NBA president who's meant to be like addressing this issue where the Attorney General is coming in? Like, what is going on? Like, these are the issues. And then you're like, come on, what is really going on? Like, Akpata is so quiet. Like, why is he quiet? Like, they're talking about constitutional.
No. The dollar bags get shared round. You know that. The dollar bags, they get. When they're talking about the dollar bags, when they come to his house with $50, $100 million in cash,
it's saddening.
If that was you, would you not hold the line? We would not hold the line.
Against the whole country.
Well,
the future of your own kids involved.
Don't worry. It's guns and roses in the Nigerian politics.
That is
bullets in one hand, dollars in the other. Then you pick your choice now. Either way, you will do as they will.
But you see, with everything going on now, and then you start to look at it like, okay, if Showore doesn't have a chance, Mogalu doesn't have a chance.
Where are you with the Showore narrative? Are you a Showoreist?
It's, you see, I've looked at how he has spoken. I'm listening to everything that each one of them is saying. Showore is a stubborn radical, but he can do the job if he has the support, because he won't listen to these people. He's going to go against their will. Right now, you don't need someone who will listen to what they're saying, because they will manipulate you with everything they have. They're money bags, so they will keep manipulating you. The rich is even in America, it's hard to fight the rich. It's because people who have money will always find a way against the system. So now the people who have money in Nigeria, they're so, they control every facet of every layer you want to think about. They have people in there before you can even get to them. Then how do we, the common man, like the common man, for heaven's sake? I was listening the other day, sure, it was like, I'm ready to give people minimum wage of 100,000. I didn't know how that did not motivate Nigerians to run to the polling booth and give this guy their vote. Like, I sometimes like, and then I'll be wondering, like, who do you want to vote for? Like, sure, I don't understand. I'm not saying he's the best person. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at his promises, and then it's like, okay, we were able to give Buhari a chance. Why can't we give this guy a chance? Why can't we give Mogalu a chance? Are we now saying Tinubu again?
You know that Shore doesn't have a political constituency. The political constituency of somebody like Buhari, 1 is the core north, and 2 his religion, and then 3 the military base that puppet hands the Nigerian space. So that is his political base. Obasanjo,
Right.
the same base. Somebody like Tinubu, he has both the Southwest as a base.
Okay. Now,
but it doesn't have a political constituency. It's just internet people that just follow him.
I try to understand what you're saying, because Buhari has a background, a kind of base, a past with the military, and the North, that background support. But now let's look at it like, okay, if Showore should capitalize on the diaspora space, the people in diaspora.
Look at that. Are we not just noisemakers? Are the diasporians not noisemakers?
We're trying to create, our own. We're trying to create like a kind of platform for him to. So let's look at it like, okay, we diasporans give him a good support, and the media space, is also coming from. He's also a media person. He's able to gather the media boys. They give him the support, because it's really the media that does the job for these people. They sell the propaganda, they sell it to you, and then they keep feeding you with it. So let's say the media gives them the job.
But the media in Nigeria always goes with the highest bidder, unfortunately. And the people in diaspora, they are not the voters in Nigeria. So that's just it's a keyboard. Probably call him a keyboard warrior. The Showore space.
So now, I have a question. Where do we here in the diaspora, where can we influence this election? Where can we create an impact where it's being felt like, okay, this is what we want. We want a Nigeria that would change. We want a leader that would listen to the people, that people that want things to change, that turn around. Where do we come in to
it's by influencing people that you have direct influence over. So the people that you have in situation in Nigeria that listen to your words, then that is where your influence is. So if you can sensitize them sufficiently enough to have them sensitize other people sufficiently enough, then maybe that can mushroom into something. But that's just the thing about Showore. I've never been a fan of his, but setting that aside, his own narrative, it just doesn't. It's just like posing, really. He chimes with the internet space because he speaks our language. He speaks the educated language. He speaks the international outlook language, and he can come up with a plan that sounds like a rescue for Nigeria. But in real politics, it doesn't have a base. It doesn't have antecedents, and it doesn't really strike as somebody that can follow through. So it's just talk, it's just posing.
I'll now, this is 4 years gone under Buhari. Not anybody promising to really change the outlook of Nigeria is in the picture for 2023 besides Tinubu and Atiku. Do we have hope as a country?
You know where I'm placing my hope. I'm placing my hope in the spark within the youth space, and I'm putting that on that NSAS flash that we saw. So whatever it is that motivated that, I'm hoping that the situation in Nigeria will put them in a position where they have to revisit and progress that space. So they've signaled that they are not having it the way it is, and they've seen how the powers that be, the federal space responses. So they now know what response to get. But the situation continues to get worse. So what response then are we to expect from that space? Because it's only that space really that can rescue us, like a youth takeover.
Let's think about it like this. After NSAS, let's look at the events that happened in Nigeria before this, their fuel price and everything. People at the level where they told them they were going to take out subsidy, petrol will go up, blah blah blah. Labour came out like, oh no, don't try it, don't do it. They did it. What did the people do? Nobody can come out and revolt. It's Buhari. The people are scared. Let's admit that. Now, after that NSAS, after that reaction that people saw from NSAS, that other panel that Lagos set up that nothing is working, come on, you are not going to try Buhari again.
Oh, okay. So what solution, what way out do you see?
If I don't think the youths have a say, first of all, because Bajabi Amila being there, I expect him, he's very eloquent. Before he was the speaker, he used to be like someone that you feel like will be able to challenge the status quo, like, okay, be able to speak for the people. But look at what he's doing there. It's just sitting there like one of them. Now, if the youths are going to come in the picture, what position are we going to hold? Are we not going to hold president? We're not going to hold vice president. We're not going to hold senate. We're not going to hold number 4 speaker. We're not going to hold deputy senate president. We're not going to hold deputy speaker. So where do we fall into space? We're going to hold party. We're going to be one of their party executives, and then that's because if you're one of the party executives, automatically you're one of their national leaders or whatever you're going to be called. Is that youth holding space? Because that's where it lies. Like, if you cannot be in a position to effect enough change, what are you doing? As governors, the youthful governors I want to claim, Yaya Bello, look at what he has turned Kogi State into. Like, when you don't put the right man for the job, even if you're a youth or you're not a youth, you would fail woefully. It's
okay. So what is your rescue plan? What is your rescue plan?
The right man for the job. If we can get the right man for the job.
That's not what are you talking about? That's just abstract something now. Of course, the right man for the job, but what is your rescue plan?
For Nigeria as a whole?
Yes, for Nigeria as a whole. What's your rescue plan?
Honestly, because
look at that. It's very easy to list all the problems, but look at that.
No. It's like this. No, because now with your own disposition, like, we in the diaspora, we can't really do much. So the people down there, I can only talk to my own people, and it's only if they listen. I don't know the pains they're going through. I can only maybe enhance their pockets 1 or 2 times. But election day, I don't know what it will look like there. So if they will be true to themselves, and yes, we want true change, everybody's ready for that. I really don't think we should be out there voting for these same people that we know what their antecedents have been. Like, they are not capable to do the job. Tinubu is not capable to rule Nigeria. He's not. Like, for heaven's sake, Tinubu. No. Say that again?
I don't know. That's Radio Biafra.
No, please, Mr. One Man. Henry, what do you think about? What do you think about?
Nobody can hear you. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Henry, what do you think about civil disobedience?
Civil disobedience?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, people have been voting in the
No. What do you mean by no? Sorry, no. What do you mean by civil disobedience? What does that mean?
Civil disobedience. Okay, civil disobedience could be boycotting elections, don't using the Nigerian banking system. We could find ways of transaction money between us. Things like that I think will hit these people harder than keep doing the same
not voting
thing
and not using the banks.
We in the diaspora,
that's just a nonsense, isn't it?
We in the diaspora can effect that. That's what I'm saying. That
when you say it's all these abstract statements, but when you try to narrow it down, this is what it usually lands. is saying don't use the banks. That's civil disobedience. What does that mean? Who suffers that? How is it possible for you not to use the banks? You know,
it's possible. We don't. Our mandaries in the north, do they use banking system to put their money in the bank?
Yeah, but they are not our mandaries in the south. You stop using the banking system. What do you then do? Exactly. You go and withdraw your 100 million naira and put it under your bed.
If you want to send money to the family in Nigeria, how would you send money to them?
If you want to send money, you send cryptos, Abi. You send cryptos. It's just what are you? This is it. They come up with this grand statement, but when you try to narrow it down, this is what you hear. Don't use the bank. He just wants to come and say civil disobedience, But what do you mean by civil? Forget all of that's a nonsense. What do you mean by civil
system?
Please, man, don't. What do you mean by civil? Tell us. No. What do you mean by civil disobedience? How does that play out? So it's very easy to say. How does it play out?
Civil disobedience could be
boycotting the elections.
Why not?
I have one question.
Why do we keep voting?
When you boycott the election, what will be the consequence of that? They will continue to hold power.
Exactly. The consequence is that international people will see that Nigeria is a problem.
The international, they don't see that already. What are you talking about? They see Ukraine. What are they doing for them? My friend, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. You never know.
Mr. One,
I think very bad.
You say you stop using the banks. See, because you come and say civil disobedience as though he's landed on some grand notion.
Come on,
is that a grand notion?
I think I get what the bad was saying, and just not getting. You see. He's making a good point. You see, if you want to change Nigeria, you must act
during the 60s.
Here's the best way
civil disobedience. He just wants to come and say that phrase. But when you ask him what it means, he starts to fumble.
Okay, Mr. Henry, let's hear your take on this, please. Henry?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
RBL, your civil disobedience. If I'm getting it, are you saying we in the diaspora, is that what we can effect for the people in Nigeria?
No. I'm talking about the people in back home.
It's not gonna work because they're hungry.
No. What do you mean by civil? We still don't know what you mean by civil. So you have to be clear on what you're saying, so we know what we're discussing. What do you mean by civil disobedience? What do you mean?
What I mean is that we do not partake in any Nigerian elections, whether it's local government chairman, senator, or governorship.
And what will be the consequences of that?
Can I just say something?
The consequences of that?
The consequence.
Can I just say something? One word.
Hold on, X0. What would be the consequences of that?
It would be harder for Nigerian government to fool everybody that people participated in elections. That's what they want us to do.
If you don't, hold on. What do you think will happen if you don't participate in government? Do you think there will be a void? There will not be a void.
What will happen is that if
they will just hold on to power, they will enable laws to, because you can't have a vacuum, can you?
This is what they would do, and this is what we want them to do, because it will show to the international community this is what is happening in Nigeria.
They know what is happening in Nigeria. Well, do you think the international community does not know what is happening in Nigeria? They know what is happening. So what are you saying? What you're saying is a nonsense, man. You just wanted to come and say civil disobedience as though you landed on some grand idea. It's not an idea. Civil disobedience. What does it? It has no meaning. You just want to you want to grandstand. Don't grandstand. Don't grandstand, my friend.
Can I ask you something? Hold on. Mr. Woman, can I ask you something? Is it that you are against this civil disobedience is because
I'm asking what it means. What does it mean? You say don't use the banks, don't vote.
Nigerian elections. That way, the international community and people at large can see what is going on in Nigeria. The president they present to the world.
I'm asking you. Does the international community not know already what is going on in Nigeria? Do they not
know? But at the same time, they are confused because they're saying that
they are confused. Do you know who Katrina Liang is?
That man is a daughter of Jezebel. I'm telling you, that woman is a witch.
You
She knows
think they
what's
don't
going
know?
on.
Oh, okay. So
She-
if you
is a
know she knows, if you know she knows what is going on, then what else are you asking her to know?
Who is she? She's just one person. We need
She's
the other
the British
international
representative.
community.
She's the British representative. You don't know what you're talking. This is what you do. You don't know what
She's
you're
one
talking.
woman.
You don't
She's one
know
woman.
what. Just settle down. You don't know what you're talking about. You never
Oh
know
my
what you're
God.
talking about. You never
okay,
do.
you tell me who is this Catriona?
Yeah, she's the British ambassador to the United
Yes.
Kingdom.
I didn't
And she
come to the
speaks on the
Nigeria.
she speaks on the Nigerian she speaks on the Nigerian politics a lot of time. In fact, she facilitated for Baseke to be returned. So she knows fully what is going on in
So
Nigeria.
you're telling me that we cannot do anything to affect change in Nigeria without her say so?
No, but it is not your mantra chanting that you just hear civil disobedience and you go and say it without knowing what you're talking about. But let's hear from Henry, who does know what he's talking about. All right, just a couple more words from you, Henry, and then we hear a little bit from Jake, and then I'll round off because we've come up to the 2-hour mark.
I wanted to ask a question. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Xero. Okay. Please, this man, Jake, talked about not using the bank. I wanted to find out from him how exactly he meant. How are we going to do that without using? How can we actually transact or do anything without using the banks in Nigeria? Can you fleshing up that?
Don't encourage him. He doesn't know what he's talking
about.
No,
because that is fascinating, but I don't know how it's possible.
Hold on. You know that they have international banks. They have apps that, you see, the banks we want to affect change or to force pressure is Nigerian banks, but they have international banks. We could find ways of doing transactions. Is it through Bitcoin
find ways? What does find ways mean?
Before
what are
the
those
money
ways?
gets to Nigeria, it has to pass through a bank. A bank has to make it into a physical cash.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know anything now. We know him here.
Somebody has to get the.
You're correct. I don't know anything. This is why I'm coming to your platform.
No, you just say civil disobedience because you hear it on Radio Biafra.
Be on the point.
He doesn't
Jake,
know.
be on the point. How are we going to do that?
One man, I don't know anything. Okay, Henry, this is why, as Mr. One Man has said something, I don't know anything. Okay, fine. I don't know anything. But this is why I come on this platform.
Because I wanted to know from you now how we're going to do it. Because if you say we should boycott the bank, then if I want to send money to somebody in Nigeria, how am I going to, should I send the money to Ghana and they go to Ghana and pick it up? Because if they want to pick it up or for the money to appear in their account, it has to go through a licensed bank in Nigeria that gets its own percentage and gives its own percentage to the government. So I want to know because it's a good idea, but I don't know how that is feasible.
Yeah, this is why
the money has to pass through a Nigerian.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, we live in internet age. One person could start up something,
but that doesn't matter. Internet doesn't translate money to somebody.
Why don't you say cryptocurrency? We send them cryptocurrency. Say that now. And let's get to ridiculous quarters.
RBL, if I understand
Mr. One Man, what is the idea of this platform that you opened? What is the idea?
Don't take it personal. Just face the issues, please. Everybody would like to learn.
Radio Biafra,
we know him. This is what I'm saying. That one person, Mr. One Man, one person can say one thing that can spark off debate and can spark off ideas. How people can,
let me give you another perspective to your point.
I think, Jake, I think you just have to stay on the point because the only other thing you want to do is print your own money because there's no feasible way of sending money to that country without
I have another
passing through the banks.
I have another perspective to this.
There are people that know about this financial transaction more than us. Trust me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
The name of the money is going to print.
No, Biafran pound. We'll go and resuscitate Biafran pound. This is what we will do.
Begging for new leaders. When they get there, they disappoint you. You're back to square one.
Look at that. They say you are living in Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland.
I haven't forget that what that man says. All he does is chat. He never comes on to talk. I have the brevity to come and speak. He doesn't do that, so he can call me whatever he likes. Do you understand? So,
Jake, I think you have to work on your thesis and come back and give us a final position on this money thing.
No, it's not.
I'm coming up with ideas. You guys want to keep doing the same thing and same thing and praying things will change. It doesn't work like that.
All right. Radio Biafra, hold on. No, hold on. Radio Biafra. I didn't tell you that it's not the. No, we all know that. Don't say it's cliches. Don't cliche. We all know that you cannot repeat the same things and expect a different outcome. So we know that.
But you guys are doing that, Mr. One Man.
No. Can you hold on?
Look at Mr. One Man. Look at the people who you guys are talking about who we should go for president. Tinubu is a thief. Wike is a murderer. Peter Obi is a murderer. They're all murderers. They're all killers. They're all thieves. That's the kind of people who are begging to be president again.
All right. I'm going to round off here because we've reached the 2-hour mark. But I'll leave the final word to you, Radio Biafra. But all I want to hear from you is the rendition of the Holy Holy song. So sing us out of this session. Holy Holy, give it to us.
Mr. One Man. I
want to hear the song. Do you have the song for us or not?
I sent you something on Instagram, the Biafra National Anthem. When are you going to play that national anthem?
So sing it to us then.
For that beautiful woman. I've got a cold, so I've got a foggy voice.
Look at that. He bottles it at the last. You see, you bottle it at the last moment. When the spotlight is on you, you bottle it. So there he is. He's bottled it. He's a mantra chanter, Radio Biafra. But come back with your mantra later on in the evening. So thank you, gentlemen. I have to round it off here because I've hit the threshold and I have to go do other stuff. Always a delight in your company. And especially good to meet you, Henry. So join us in the evening if you can, Henry, because there's a lot more that I want to hear from you. And I think we all do. So I leave it there. Carry conversation on within the comment section. But here, I say peace.